Well, is one inconvenient truth that things are too far gone? That we are actually experiencing right now climate collapse and that there's nothing we can do about it?
That's not true, fortunately. The question, is it too late? I always want to say is the missing part of that question is it too late for what?
Well, your friend David Suzuki, in an interview with iPolitics, suggested as much. He suggested that the planet had
I know,
passed
but
too many thresholds and that climate collapse is inevitable.
well, David Suzuki is, we're really close friends, and we talk about this stuff, and he doesn't really think it's too late to avoid mass human extinction. And that is the worst case scenario that nobody ever wants to talk about. Why would you ever want to talk about that, be in politics? You're so quick to want to say, you doomsayer nut bars, you invented some threat to the ozone layer. You don't talk about that anymore, do you? I mean, literally, how unplugged from reality can you be that this kind of discourse takes place in social media? Or remember how they used to carry on about acid rain and now they don't talk about that anymore? Yeah, we fixed it. Guess what? My God. The worst case scenario of the climate crisis is one that doesn't get spoken of because it's too terrifying. It is that if we don't reduce greenhouse gases, if we don't stop using fossil fuels and break our addiction to as many fossil fuels as we're currently burning, and we're on track to burn more all the time. If we don't change that trajectory, the worst case scenario is one where, and I think it's very important to say, this is not at this point inevitable. It's not too late to avoid what essentially is often called by scientists runaway global warming. So, a runaway scenario is where, because of the global warming that we've unleashed through human activity, what are called positive feedback loops. A positive feedback loop being like every time our forests catch fire, the horrible feedback is that as they burn, they release more greenhouse gases than all of Canadian industry last year was released by our forest fires. That's a positive feedback loop. As our Arctic ice melts, it creates more warming because the dark ocean water absorbs more heat from the sun that normally would have bounced back into dark space because of the ice on the poles and the albedo effect. So the risk for future generations is that we leave our children with a world where global warming becomes self accelerating and unstoppable, even if we completely go off burning fossil fuels at all. Like a cold turkey hard stop would not change a trajectory towards human extinction if we don't act now. My understanding of the science at this point is that we have not yet passed those tipping points. The most we can say is we don't know for sure. And while any of us who care about whether our grandchildren have a livable world, that requires that we reduce greenhouse gases as quickly as possible everywhere. Every fraction of a degree that we avoid in global heating will save millions of lives. So it's not too late in that sense. It's too late to have the lovely climate systems that existed. We've lost that. We're now locked in to at least decades, if not at least a century, of unstable climate conditions. We're locked into a time when we're going to see more forest fires every year. We're locked into a time when we'll see more flooding every year. But it's not too late to hold the levels of global warming to levels to which we can adapt with great effort and at great cost and not without loss of lives. But we're not too late to save ourselves as a species and to save as many of the millions of other species that share this planet with us. It's not too late for that. But it takes a major shift in direction from our current politics of dumb rhyming slogans that outweigh the evidence.